It is clear then that negotiations to agree a verification protocol for the Biological Weapons Convention have made considerable progress, although a number of matters need to be resolved before an agreement can be reached. Comparison is often made between key elements of the Biological and Toxin Weapons Convention and elements key to the implementation of the treaty banning chemical weapons, which came into force in 1997. Both prohibitions embodies what is referred to as a general-purpose criterion concerning their scope. This is an absolutely key element in understanding how the prohibitions on chemical and biological weapons operate in the two conventions. Dr. Julian Perry-Robinson describes the role of the general-purpose criterion by relating his comments to the implementation of the 1997 Chemical Weapons Convention.
I guess the starting point in trying to explain what this criterion is to make the familiar comment that the Chemical Weapons Convention is not actually a prohibition, as it says, of chemical weapons, but of, in effect, purposes. The scope of the treaty is set by its definition of chemical weapons, which includes these words: toxic chemicals and their precursors, except where intended for purposes not prohibited under this convention, as long as the types and quantities are consistent with such purposes. Well, now, toxic chemicals and precursors covers just about every chemical in existence, and the treaty therefore extends to all those substances. But the activities which it prohibits are directed at those substances, except under circumstances where they're not being used for purposes not prohibited by the treaty. It's a bit of a cyclic definition, but that focus on purposes means that it has two important effects. One is that because it's not directed at lists of chemicals, it's therefore not locked into the technology of the time when the lists were drawn up. Point one, it covers changing technology. Point two, its focus on purposes means that for the very many chemicals which are dual use in their application, the use in industry or the use in medicine or the use to make other chemicals is not prohibited. And that's the second major function of the criterion. First, it protects changing technology. Second, it protects, in effect, bona fide industrial, pharmaceutical, whatever use of the chemicals.